Good evening, everybody. We're going to call to order the FinCom meeting of Monday, April 6th. We're on the third floor of Town Hall. First things first, we are going to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, if you're able. All right, thank you. Okay, moving on. For old business, we are still going to table the Collins Center report. We do have a meeting next Wednesday. We're going to discuss that there. We are also, for old business, we're going to bring two things that we referred to tonight. The first one being Joe McCrisky to speak about the fire apparatus. So Joe, if you'd like to come up. And then any questions, now is the time, clarifying comments. So I know we had some questions last week that we wanted to bring to this meeting. So did anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions for Joe?
The Stoughton Historical Society owns that piece of apparatus, and that was in the handout that I gave to make sure there was enough for every member. I did watch your hearing, the last hearing you had. The additional question was the cost, and there was a comment made that it was too much money. Well, we don't know how much too much is. I was asked, as part of the process, to get two quotes. One, I said, was a high quote. One was a lower quote. And it seems that the high one may not even bid on it. So we could end up with no quotes. There's a possibility of that. Or we could get one that falls right in the middle, which is, I think, what we will get. But this is a one-of-a-kind, if you will. It was made in 1853. I restored a Mustang convertible. You can't restore a Mustang convertible like you can restore this. The wheels are estimated alone at $5,000 a piece. They're wooden spoked wheels. They're made by hand in Pennsylvania. All right, and similar ones like this, they're not in the condition that it would be in under a restoration. I did mention the patina, which if we have to, we just want to get this piece of equipment where it can be transported. Right now, the wheels are bad, the bearings are bad, the wood is bad. We want it to pump. There's handmade leather seals that are made from a special kind of leather. I don't know how to do these things. And all that is basically, this was a centrifugal pump where one side sucks in the water once it's primed, and then the other side, when they push down, it pumps it out. So you're constantly sucking water in, pushing water out. We want to get this to the point where it can be utilized down to Ames Pond, where people, like they've done in a lot of other towns, it's a community gathering apparatus. It gets people together. They all pump the water. They have fun trying to do it. There's been teams that'll get set up. They bet this one against this one, to see who can do that. So you can make community events out of this. And as well, as I mentioned earlier, it will be the oldest piece of Stoughton history that you can restore other than one of the buildings from the ground up or putting a roof on it. But this, again, is a piece of equipment like the Engine 2 that the FinCom and Town Meeting and CPC have been so good to have that restored, is it goes to you. It'll go out to community events. It'll be on display for other towns to see. And we all know the hits that Stoughton takes once in a while. This is going to be a piece where it's goodwill. People are going to be seeing it and seeing the reflection of Stoughton and the people of the town and the commitment we make to the history of the town. And it does mark a time. In 1853, think of what it was like. I mean, it was before Wyatt Earp days. You know, the train station. It's older than the train station, and we just spent $2 million of a grant to restore the train station. So it's a good piece of equipment. It's a smaller amount of money, and it's not going to be the $150,000. But when somebody says, get a high bid and a low bid, estimate, you do that. So we can't say that that's too much money because we really won't know how much it's going to cost until it goes out to bid. And believe me, Anybody who knows who I am, I deliver results. I work hard to make sure we can get it done. And if anything, I'm going to be the one that shops around to make sure we're getting the right deal. I'm not just saying here, give us $150,000, we're going to spend it. You know, we're going to be on top of it. Where we can save, we're going to. If we can save the wheels, restore them, we're going to save them, restore them. But I believe that it's already been looked at, and the wheels really are in bad shape. So with that, I think I answered the questions you've had, and it's the same as the engine 2, which I just backed into the fire department headquarters for the first time, where we have the bay that was made available by the town, so that truck can be seen by everybody in town. And there's a lot of history in there as well. I welcome you. If anybody want to call and make an appointment, I'm open, and we're going to have some history items in there. We're transferring all of the fire-related history items, documents, pictures, items we have into that bay so that it's more accessible to people to see. You know, and that's what we're doing. We want to connect people to the history of this town. It's a lot of fun what the Historical Society does. I would be remiss if I didn't say consider joining. It's a lot of fun and the things you find about our town. So if there's no other questions. Yes.
Have you tried to secure private funding for this?
I raised money, Ben, okay? The restoration is a lot to raise. It's a lot to raise. But all of the upkeep of these programs is all done on raising money. I just finished a campaign. We needed somewhere to get these vehicles around. And if anybody's familiar with the United States flag truck, we had it in Stoughton back in 2008, and it had carried on at Mount Rushmore flags. The morning of July 4th, 2008, we shut the center of town down, no traffic, and unrailed two big 90-foot by 45-foot national flags, and they were covered up the center of town. We got aerial pictures of it. I was able to buy that truck to transport Engine 2, so it gets to a wider audience, because you drive that old Engine 2 in 1928, it does, if you're lucky, 28 miles an hour. So you're really kind of limited to where you can go without an overnight trip, you know. So we've got that truck that we own that now. I'm going to buy a trailer that we would pull behind that flag truck with Engine 2 on it, so we can transport these to a wider audience. There are grants available. I've raised pretty close to $70,000 that is coming right out of donations. There are endowments that we've applied for. We have yearly sponsorships. We have 4 national companies that are sponsoring this flag truck Engine 2, and I've mentioned in it the Honeyman hand tub. Okay, so we are getting corporate donations, and my goal is to do more, that we can do research projects at the Historical Society as well, because there's a lot of items. We need updated software and so forth, and it's a nonprofit like anything else. It doesn't get any municipal funding, so we're going to use these as that donation gatherer. Hopefully it works as good as it did, the past few months. So from November until about April 1st, around that area, like I said, about 60,000, easy 70,000. It might even be a few dollars more. So it's out there. It's out there. We want to build programs. One thing, and I'm trying to figure out, and I'll take any ideas anyone has as well. What we did with Engine 2, we come up with a new program to involve kids. Now, we all know that we've had 3 line of duty deaths in our fire department. 1966, Ed Kelleher; 1995, Victor Melendi; and 2021, Fred Little. So what kids do now on Engine 2, we have there's a small rope for the bell, but there's a long piece now. And kids will ring the bell 3 times, and they get a card. On the front of the card is a picture of Engine 2, and it says, "I ring the bell." On the back of it is the 3 fallen firefighters, so that people know they were Stoughton residents. They were Stoughton people that gave their lives for our town, fighting fires. We're going to try to teach kids. We want to do more. Eventually, I want to make a little book, because there's a lot of history with that truck serving in Engine 2 from 1928 to 1956. I would invite you. I've spent the last 3 days over at the headquarters bringing out different things, artifacts that we've hung on to, that I've taken off of trucks before they went out to bid. We have the original siren and the bell that was on Engine 3, which is the fire truck that Victor Melendi was assigned to on the night he was killed. So we're going to do this. We're going to make it more accessible for everybody. Ideas are great. It's a community event, and we've started. It's really going well. So I know a long answer to your question, but
Go ahead, Chet.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I've been thinking about this a long time, and I've actually changed my mind. I think that it's a good project, and I'm not sure how much it's going to cost, but I think we have to have things in town. Is it okay? Okay. I think we have to have things that are historical in town, and I think this is going to be a good project. It's going to help us in 4th of July parades, Memorial Day, whatever. So I definitely reconsidered, and I'm in favor of this. I'm not sure about the cost, but we'll see what happens when we get the codes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chet. Jonna and then Arnie.
Thank you. Thank you through you. I just was wondering, who else can use them? And like, what if you moved, if no one else can use them? Are they just sitting there? And I'm just curious. I'm just trying to take the trajectory out a little bit.
I'm not planning on dying anytime soon. But
No one ever is.
But no, I mean, there's one person sitting over here with a firefighter's mustache. I'm hoping we can get to be involved. It's new. I mean, this is new. We haven't had this truck. It was made possible to have a home in Avon by an Avon businessman that had an antique truck collection. And since 2005, he gave us free room and board, which is unheard of, because to store that truck somewhere is a minimum $700 a month just to put it in a building. So I think we have some great opportunities, when it comes back into town. I want to do some youth. They have Eagle Scout projects. Let people do research, learn more about firefighting history, when it was, in its infancy in Stoughton. As we know, 1849 was the official organization of the Stoughton Fire Department, and this was 1853. It was born just after that. And this hand tub left Stoughton in 1888. 1881, it went to the town of Avon when they became Avon from East Stoughton. So there's so much we can do, Jonna, and we're going to have more people involved. I know that there's been interest where it's visible now, more people see it, that we'll get some more people involved.
Thank you, but I just really wanted to direct the question more to, can anyone else use it other than you? I mean, I'm not saying you're going to die. I was referring to you moving.
I would like to say
I'm
yes.
not as morbid as you.
I would like to say yes, have more people get in, and more people can take it out and run it to events as well. Yes, that's the goal.
Okay, so presently there isn't anyone.
Right now, it's just me.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Right now, it's
Thank
just
you.
me.
Thank you.
Oh, hang on. Arnie.
Hi, Joe. Thank
Hey,
you.
Arnie, how you doing?
Mike, I'm all for historical stuff. I'm a motorhead. I like mechanical things. But what I'd like to see is a more firm quote on this so that we know what the actual cost is going to be. Is it possible to put this off to the next town meeting until we get a firm quote from somebody?
Well, again, this is the process. The process is when you submit your CPC article, you're asked to get quotes, and a high and a low. So the bid process, the process from CPC was the same as everything else. And then it goes out to bid. To get a firm price is impossible because we don't know if there's going to be 2 people bidding or 10 people bidding. So it's really, I would rather not do that because if anything, it's just another year that we get nowhere.
So if I may, what it sounds like, my understanding of this is that if town meeting approves this, then town meeting is approving a ceiling for this. And if the
Yes,
bids come in
exactly.
lower, then let's say the bids only come in at $50,000, that's all we spend is
That's
50.
right.
They were approved up to 150, but we only spend
Right.
50. And if the bids come in at 200, we only have 150. So we're approving up to a ceiling, and that's it.
This is the same exact process that was done for engine 2.
Where are the current vendors that you intend to,
Arnie, I have no idea, sir. There was one gentleman, it's up in Maine, who was Jay Leno's guy, and I know one of Jay Leno's people very, very closely, and he just retired. He won't take any new work. He's only doing that real high-end stuff. And there's a gentleman that will be bidding on it from right in the Auburn area. I think it's Leicester. He'll be bidding on it, but he hasn't seen it yet. So you can't bid. They come out and they look at these trucks, you know, when they do that, and they say, okay, it needs this, it needs this. That's how they firm what they're going to bid on. You know, to go out and do that all and then it doesn't get approved, it's a waste of everybody's time. So like I said, you know, I've been here a long time, Arnie. I want it done the right way, and I want to make sure that we get a good job at the best price. But this is the process. These are the two bids that I went out. I got a high one and a low one, like was asked, you know, just to find out what it was for a ceiling. And we'll go. If I can get this done for $30,000, I'd love it. I'd love it. But we don't know. We're just following the process.
thank you.
Chet?
Is somebody else in front of me?
I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody on this side of the room. Okay, perfect. Chet?
Okay, thank you. I just want to say thank you to John for enlightening me on about the pump truck. I thought when I said by a horse, I was mistaken, and it's by told by people. And so I just want to say I'm sorry, and also I want to applaud Joe for doing what he's doing, you know, keeping the historical side of the fire department. He's a great guy, and I know him for over 30 years. And so I just want to apologize for making my comments the other night. And
No, there's no need for that.
no, I feel
Speak
I
your
have
piece.
to.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Jonna?
Thank you, through you. I had someone ask me, and I like the idea of what you're doing, and I'm not opposed to history or anything like that, but the person was saying to me that the other truck that you had, no one else has ever used, so that's why they're concerned. So I'm just putting that out there for them.
Did you ask that person if they ever called me and asked me to be a part of it?
Because I just found out
Right.
now.
Well, see, Jonna, people will say things. People will say certain things because it's me, unfortunately. You know, and anybody who wants to be involved with this effort is welcome. I need the help. I'd love to have somebody come up when we're cleaning or doing something. I'd love to have the help. You know, there's so much we can do, but it's very easy for outsiders to, you know, just find problems.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but this is somebody who knows you and likes you, and
Well, then you should tell them, call me. I'd love to have the help. But
All right.
they haven't done that, and it troubles me to hear that somebody would say that, but never called me and said, hey, I'd like to be a part of it.
Well, I guess what they're trying to get across is their concern is if you're the only one, you move,
I'm not
you
going to
don't-
move.
Well, okay.
I've been here my whole life. I'm not going to move, you know, especially after doing all this work and having fun doing it.
Well, I guess because no one ever took on using the other truck, their concern is now we're going to take on this expense,
What
and
do you
if
mean, never using the other truck? What
If
truck?
I may, I'm the back and forth. So if I may, this is owned by the town.
Yes.
Through CPC funds.
It's owned by the Historical Society.
Owned by the Historical
Yes.
Society. At some point, when somebody else steps up to volunteer, they will also then have this under their responsibilities.
Right.
So this is not a Joe McCrisky is leading this, but this does not belong to Joe. It will belong to the Historical Society. So, and I'm sure as an organization, they have rules and processes on how to loan it out, I guess, or rent it or whatever, you know.
It goes where anybody wants it. That's all there is to it. It's if somebody else was here, we can do more.
And that is up to the Historical Society.
Yeah.
So if there are no other comments, I'm going to thank Joe for coming. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, and thank you all. Appreciate your support.
Okay. Also for old business, thank you, Joe. Also for old business, we are going to go to Article 19 of the, was it special? Of the special town meeting. Mark Tisdale, we had also referred a question to this meeting.
Madam Chair, if I may, will you be voting on this article as we go along? No votes tonight?
Not for this. Well, maybe for this, but
For Article 19?
item, on the agenda, item 6 is motion to close public hearings to the annual special town meeting. 7 is discussion of articles. Votes may be taken, so it's up to the vice chair if she wants to do
We'll
that.
vote after, when we close the public hearing.
We're not going to vote right now.
Okay, so,
I'm sorry. I got it. Mark, this is Article 19 is Park and Turnpike Street intersection final design. It's $400,000. We tabled it to this meeting because we had some questions. I think the big question we had was if we don't approve this $400,000, what happens?
Thanks for asking that question, Joel. Appreciate it. You might want to get that, Joel. It was us. Hey, you were picking your phone up, so it looked like you.
I got more pictures of my grandchild.
No, good question, Joel. Essentially, since this is a DOT layout roadway, everything goes through DOT. If we decided to stop the project at this point, not fund it, which would be stopping the project, it would be dead in the water. So it would not continue through the DOT process.
So the DOT would not go ahead in their own? They can only go ahead with our participation?
Not, they could in the future, absolutely, but it would be probably delayed for a number of years, if ever. Yeah.
Okay.
This was initiated by the town.
No, I
not
understand.
DOT.
That I understand. So I think the real question was, you know, whether we should spend the money now or if we don't spend the money now. I know there are some people on this committee who aren't particularly thrilled about the solution, okay? But the question was, if we don't spend the money now or if we decide to not pass this article, does the DOT just go ahead and do it anyway, but even if it is a couple of years from now?
No, it's not in their long-term plans, so it doesn't mean they're not going to do it in the future.
Okay, so basically, if something needs to be done, it should be done. If we pass this article, it will be done.
Right. Since we're following the DOT process, and we're paying for the design, DOT will fund I believe it's between $9 and $10 million construction cost of the project.
That's well, that's similar to other projects that
Yeah.
we've done. Yeah, okay, fine. That was the main question, but
all right, Arnie, go ahead.
If the DOT is going to fund approximately 10 million, how much is going to be our part of that intersection?
So right now, we have 400,000. We're asking to finish the project, and I believe we had 375 initially, which is kind of on track with the design of this nature. It's around whatever that is, 700,000.
Now, what I mean is, if they're going to put in $10 million to build this rotary, excuse me, it's not a rotary, it's
Roundabout.
it's a rotary, it goes around.
Oh, roundabout.
What is going to be our portion of that construction?
We don't pay anything for the construction.
Thank you.
Arnie, just like Tosca Drive, we paid for the feasibility study, and then the state paid the rest.
Right. Yep.
Go ahead.
can I assume there'll be public hearings on this?
Yeah, DOT always says public. There's already been public hearings, and there'll be more.
Okay, but there'll be more. Okay, thank you.
Okay. One more, Arnie.
Where will we get the money to pay for this $400,000?
Free cash. It's in the article for free cash. Okay. Mark, thank you very much.
No problem, anytime.
Thanks. Okay. All right, so. All right, any other, so that's it for old business. For minutes, we are going to table the minutes for either the next meeting or the meeting after. I'll leave that to Carolyn. One sec.
You ready? I'm going to make a motion. Go ahead. Oh, good.
So in light of the fact that we have to get the book out, and if we can find a spot, do we have enough people? Can we come back on Thursday to vote the budget? So we need at least 9 people for Thursday night, this Thursday. Do we have enough people that'll be here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, perfect. All right, and I'll make sure Heidi and Laura here. Are you sure? Okay, so remind me to text Carolyn. So Thursday night, 7 o'clock here. Not just Thursday, just Thursday. Yeah. Next week is Wednesday. We'll have the Collins reports, but we need to get the book out. So we need to finish up tonight. This Thursday, we can do the budget and then finalize anything else we need to finalize so we can get the book out. Perfect.
So on Thursday, we're just going to vote. No public hearings.
No public hearing on Thursday, just voting.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on.
Okay. Yes, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearings for the May 4th annual town meeting and the May 4th special town meeting.
Do we have a second? Motion was made by Joel, seconded by Lauren. Okay. We are going to take this a little bit out of order tonight. Oh, crap. Sorry. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye. All those opposed, abstain. Okay. Welcome to the public hearing. We have a quorum. So I'm going to take this out of order just because I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So we have our chief and deputy chief here. So we are going to take Article 15 of the police department capital, and then Article 21, police station feasibility study. And that way they can speak and then we can let them go do other police work. They are welcome to stay if they want to, but I mean, you know. Arnie, you volunteered for this. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm still getting my papers together. So, special town meeting, Article 15. Hello. Thank you for coming back. So in my notes, I have that we had questions about the flock safety software. You are requesting $60,000. I know that we wanted you to come back with some more information, and I know that the committee had some questions. So do you want to go ahead?
So I'll start with, we posted on the town's website as well as our Facebook page, flock data with myths and facts, and that was sent out a few weeks ago when, I spoke with Chairwoman Campbell about getting put back on the agenda because people had questions. So I hope that you had the opportunity to read those, and either we can just take your questions or we can discuss and put information out there, however you want us to proceed.
I think we'll go ahead with questions then. So Ingrid, I thought you might have a question. Okay.
I just had a quick question. Sorry, I didn't see the posting, but this is just one thing I was wondering. I know that I was reading that Flock Software has a national database, and the town can choose to be a part of it or not. But that if you choose to be a part of it, that then the information that we get, we have to share, that we can't choose not to. Is that correct?
Through you, Madam Vice Chair, we can choose who to share with or without.
Being a part.
So every individual agency has to send a request to us, and we have to vet it, and we decide whether we do or don't, which as of right now, it is only set up to share with law enforcement agencies within Massachusetts, no federal agencies, and no private entities that may have the system.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
This is going to be a contract with this company? Do we actually own anything, or are they giving it to us as part of their contract? Is it on lease? What do we actually own?
We own the data, and that is it. They own the equipment.
Who installs the equipment?
They do.
Okay, and who maintains the equipment?
They do.
And who pays for the operating costs of the equipment?
We do. That's the contract fee.
Okay, and what happens, the reason I'm asking this question, there was an article in the Boston Globe, which you may have seen, of one of the other Massachusetts communities that actually tried to get rid of Flock, and they had an extremely hard time doing it. And I guess for me, that made me a little nervous. If we don't want to use it anymore, can we get rid of it easily?
So my understanding of hearing the same things is once we determine we no longer want to be part of it, they kill access to it for us.
Do they remove their equipment?
And then when they get to it, they remove the equipment.
When they
It
get
does.
to it.
So, but it gets shut off.
No, okay.
So it doesn't work, it doesn't collect any data anymore, and then.
What I was curious
Right.
about, yeah.
So just like it takes some time to get them to set it up, it takes time for them to get a crew out to just take it down. But it gets shut off and does not collect data anymore.
So if I understand this correctly, you, the police department, will have a contract with this company, Flock, and they will provide the equipment, set it up, and make sure that everything, all the information they get, that goes to their database, and then what do you have? You're paying for the access to that database?
So it is held in storage by them. Everything is encrypted, everything is secure, and we have access to it. And the only way that any of that data gets shared anywhere else, other than a court order, is by us giving access to somebody to look at it.
Okay, but the data is being held by them?
Correct. They do not sell it. All they do is facilitate sharing.
Okay. Elon Musk doesn't own any of this company, does he? Or?
It does not, no.
Oh, good, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
I had, excuse me, I had a couple of questions also. So the $60,000, that's for the first year?
No, that's for year 2 and 3.
So it's nothing for the first year?
Correct. That's
And
part of
it's
it.
60
The grant funding is paying for the first year and the installation of all the cameras.
And then is $60,000 the cost per year then for how many cameras?
8 cameras?
9.
9.
So 9 cameras. We then, we're holding, you had mentioned last time that the data gets stored for 30 days, and then if it's not utilized, it gets purged.
Permanently deleted, yes.
Permanently deleted. So realistically, the cost, I'm assuming this is going to go in AWS, Amazon Web Services. So I'm assuming then that the cost for AWS will not increase exponentially because they're not scaffolding the data. In other words, they give us, this much space, and then they purge, we keep refilling, they purge, so it does not keep adding. Do you know how much space is normally kept for data that is required for legal reasons?
I do not know that, but I can find that out.
I was just curious if you knew.
I do not know the size of the storage.
Okay. And then the $60,000, that includes the 9 cameras. There is no additional monthly cost on top of that, correct, for data storage?
Correct.
And that is an unknown an unlimited number of uses. In other words, you have access to the data at any time for the entirety of the contract.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Don. Thank you.
I understand Flox is being used at Lowe's because I see those towers and stuff. So those 9 cameras or so, are they going to be like strategically placed around Stoughton on a like some kind of a pillar or a tower or something like that? And somebody would have to monitor that? I'm just kind of curious.
So the police department would monitor those locations where the cameras are, yes. And they would be put in places that we know, but we're not going to release that because that's an operational issue. So we're not going to tell the public where they are. But again, it's only so that they don't get damaged.
Would, if somebody, let's say there was a hit and run, do drivers have the ability when they submit their accident report to get access to that information to help them?
So that would be a reason for us to look to see if we have a direction of travel, where they may have gone, description of a vehicle, that is a crime that has taken place. That would be something that we would investigate. So if we had a camera in the area or the direction of travel that the vehicle fled to, we would look for that. And again, you are getting pictures of vehicles and license plates. That's the data that's being captured.
Okay.
So yes, we would investigate that, and that would be one of the, I wouldn't say it's an insignificant crime. It impacts a member of our community and their loss of property. So we would investigate that.
Okay, thank you.
And I just want to clarify, like, when that photo of the vehicle and the plate is taken, that is all that is there. There is no information about who owns it, where it is stored, who drives it. There is none of that. That is only accessible by us through a completely separate law enforcement database that has no tie to the flock. All they get is the picture to store, and that's it.
So realistically, it could be like if somebody happened to be taking video outside and saw it at the same time, and they're like, oh, I got this on video, I can give this to you.
Correct.
Same idea. Okay. John, did you have a question? I didn't know if I saw your hand. Okay. As I put him on the spot. Does anybody else? Questions, comments? Ian, go ahead.
Thank you. So it was 60,000 for the first year. Do you have any idea what a year 2 or 3 pricing might look like?
The 60,000 is for year 2 and 3 together.
Okay, thank you. So it's the 3 years, and then what? Are there any terms about after that in terms of do there other towns that have a similar model, or would we have an idea? Is this like the introductory pricing that after year 3 it's going to jump, or could we expect a similar rate going forward?
So my experience from talking to other departments is they've had it for many years and it has not gone up. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Thank you. And one other question. Do you have any analysis on what this could do for potentially reducing overtime? I mean, my take is that the benefit for you is you could potentially solve a crime, collect data a lot faster. Is there any potential savings for, instead of spending hours and hours or days researching something, it's down to hours, and how that would kind of benefit the town?
So in theory, it will help us with anything vehicles involved in, hopefully identify that vehicle quicker. So it should, on some investigations, depending on the complexity, obviously, reduce the time it takes to solve a crime, which in terms should reduce any potential overtime associated with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one more question. If this goes well, if this gets approved, do you think you would expand the scope beyond 9 cameras in the future?
I would never say never. It's realistic, right? I mean, we see as cameras have evolved in the last 10 years.
Okay. Trying to think of all the intersections. Go ahead, Dennis.
Thank you. Couple questions. So the cameras are on all the time, right?
Correct.
And who has access at any given time?
We do.
Just we as in you, or?
The Stoughton Police Department and anyone we allow to share.
Okay, so,
So, like, let's just say we share with Canton, and they're looking for a car that left Canton. They can run a query. They don't particularly go to our cameras and go, let's look up at this one particular camera in Stoughton. They just run a general search and will run include the cameras in Stoughton, and then they'll see if they get a match for the vehicle they're looking for.
so how do you know if somebody logged into the system and has a live feed and is watching for?
No, there's no, it's,
There's no live feed?
there's no live feed, there's no video, it's only still images.
Everything is a still image?
Correct.
How does the camera know to take a still image of a vehicle?
Just based off motion, it just takes just like any other plate reader around, or like the tolls, you know what I mean? It just reads it and sense the motion and takes a photo and,
So every time a vehicle passes by any of these, it just takes a snapshot?
yes,
And it's only of the plate and the vehicle, not of the driver?
correct. It's the rear of the vehicle.
The rear of the vehicle?
Yes,
Okay.
because in all 50 states, you're required to have a rear license plate.
Right.
Not all 50 states require a front, so they do the rear.
And so how do we know if there's been unauthorized access to the system?
So we are, one, it's impossible to do without us giving access to somebody. But if someone used it improperly, we do audits every month by policy. And those audits are twofold. An internal audit on our people and an internal audit that will happen to show any agencies we're sharing with if their searches included any of our cameras.
So it'll be a data log of who
Yes.
logged in, when they logged in, what
Yes.
they looked for? And you'll review that monthly?
Yes,
And the Stoughton Police Department already has policies, procedures around these?
yes.
Okay. As far as the national database that's held, they don't have access to those? Those are encrypted for just Stoughton and, say, Canton?
And whoever we allow to share.
Of course.
So right now, we'll share with any municipal law enforcement agency and state law enforcement agency in Massachusetts. Once we get the cameras up and going, we'll see how it goes. If we need to reel that back in, we'll reel that back in. So, but,
Sorry.
go ahead, sorry.
Who makes that decision? Does the chief, or
That's joint decision with the command staff. Obviously, the chief
to
has
broaden
final
or
say.
to narrow the scope?
Yes.
Okay. And then my last question, sorry. You said, so I assume contractually, if we say we don't want it anymore and they leave the cameras up, how are we assured that they're turned off?
So my assurity is I call a friend in Canton and say,
Check it.
run a plate, see if you get any Stoughton hits. So it's written in contract, but like you said, I'm not standing there, so my assurity is I call someone in another agency and have them see if any Stoughton cameras are hitting on anything.
Right, so say you call the Canton and say, look for my truck, there's some out here. And they find it. What do? Do you have a kill switch? What?
We'll go take it down. I'll call DPW and have them take it down, and Flock can come pick them up at the DPW when they're ready.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions? Any questions from the audience? Nope, Cynthia's got nothing tonight. For this particular. Oh, go ahead, Dennis.
Can I ask questions not about Flock?
So, all right.
No, in this specific article.
Yep, so now we're still talking about,
Capital.
so this was Flock, and then anything part of Article 15. So we still have a couple of other items as well. The marked cruisers, the drone software, and the taser replacements.
Right.
Go right ahead.
A couple questions. Item 1, 3 marked cruisers, are those to replace 3 cruisers?
Yes.
Are those, they're broken, or?
It's, some of them may be, but it's based, we make that decision when the time comes. if it's getting a ton of maintenance and mileage as well, and also if it's just a constant problem, like you said, with maintenance, or if, God forbid, something happens and we just have to turn it in because it's not functioning anymore.
Okay, and if you didn't get those 3 cruisers, would that be a huge burden?
I think so. These cruises run, a lot of them are running 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? So they, over the course of 3 years, they take a lot of wear and tear. So to keep them on the road sometimes is more expensive than to replace them.
Thank you.
Thank
And then, last question. I know I've said that 3 times. The taser replacement, it says there are 10 units that need to be replaced. I remember from the last time that you're kind of going through a cycle of tranches that need to be replaced. How many, without saying any secrets or anything, how many tasers are out in the field at a time? Or are these tasers that are typically just sitting in the police station waiting to be used for a response?
So that is assigned to every officer in the department. They carry it whether they're working a shift or they're working a detail. They carry the taser. That's on their duty belt. We don't just keep them in the station. Everybody gets issued one.
So all the tasers are active at every
Correct.
given shift.
We do keep spares in case something happens to one and it's broken. So, which we're in that situation right now. We just issued 3 to the 3 newest officers that came out. We have 1 spare left because we're almost at fully staffed for the first time in a long time. So all of our tasers are out. We have 4 that are broken. We've sent them back to taser. And so we need to purchase some to have on the shelf in case something happens to the ones that are already in service right now.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Joel.
For those of you who are newer to the committee, this thing about the 3 cruisers being replaced, this is an agreed upon thing that was done many years ago to replace 3 cruisers every year, 2 or 3 cruisers. One of the reasons, as I recall, is that you can take the 3 cruisers you're replacing, you can actually turn them in for credit. And if you run them into the ground, you can't do that. So this is a better way of doing it. My question is that are these 3 cruisers going to be Fords this year?
So as you know, Joel, we will make that game time decision when we order them in October. So depending on the stock, a lot of times we don't order them in July because we don't want to take delivery of them in the wintertime. So we wait until October and order them, and it's really what they have left at that point because we want to take delivery of them in May. So that's really what we do, and it's the best price that we can get.
But your preference is for the Fords, my understanding.
The Fords have been good to us. The Chevys right now, we're burning through oil, so that's something that is a concern for us.
Okay.
The new Chevys.
I guess the reason I ask is I read that the federal government is buying a lot of these recently, and I was wondering if that's going to be a problem for you being able to pick up vehicles, or have your suppliers given you any indication of a problem like that, or?
They have not, but again, we won't start even asking for them and talking to them on prices until September because they know that we don't order them until October.
Okay, thank you.
Cynthia?
Cynthia Walsh, 1096 Park Street. Obviously, I'm from a law enforcement family, but I've also been the victim of multiple crimes in Stoughton. This is not Mayberry. Crime in Stoughton is nothing to joke about. And I know some people are afraid of Big Brother, blah, blah, blah. But any tool that they can use to make me feel safer in my home of 78 years is deeply appreciated.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions, comments on Article 15, Police Department Capital? I don't think I had a question on the drones. Okay. All right. We're also, now we're going to move on to Article 21, Police Station Feasibility Study. Okay, so police station feasibility study, the additional options and sites. We have not discussed this. Oh, no, we already discussed this once. This is for any additional information, questions. So, Mark, do you want to just take questions? Okay. All right, Ben?
Through you, Speaker. We currently have 3 active debt exclusions on the taxpayers of this town. Is there any part of this feasibility study that's going to study how we're going to pay for this?
No, we're right now just moving on to different sites because we resulted in, as you know, in 2 options that aren't feasible. We know $50 million is not a number that this town can afford right now, so we're trying to go in a direction where it's more affordable. Something we can kind of do in-house with different contractors and go through a different procurement process that's never been done before. So we can't really answer that question because we don't know what the number is going to be. If the number comes back and it's a very high number, we have to have many discussions like that. If it's a low number, it might be something that we can afford. And that'll be up to all you to actually decide. It's not going to be something that Tom or I are going to say, this is how you do it, you know. We're going to give you options. I mean, I literally envision like a chart with all the options. These are what they cost. And then I'm sure all you will have questions about how, if we could split that up within the general fund and without the general fund, things like that. But we're not at that point now. Right now, we need to see what the cost is for using the armory, renovating the armory. Can it fit the entire police station there? That kind of thing. Once we get that feasibility completed, we can move on to how we're going to fund it, if we decide we want to do that.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Chief McNamara, I don't know if you can answer this or not. Do you know on your current police station when it was designed back in 1998, somewhere around there, what the capacity was at that time, or what it was designed for?
I do not know what the design was as far as the capacity of the building.
Okay, but currently...
We took occupancy in 1998, so they designed it and started work on it in 1996.
Okay. But currently you have 73...
Sworn staff.
Yeah, on staff, and the feasibility study is for a building for 105, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay. The other thing that I'm interested in is for this particular project, before any decisions are made, will you be holding any public hearings so that people can come and actually see what is in there and make comments before a final decision is made?
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a question. When we do the schools, we go by, the MSBA has a certain percentage of this is how big your town is, this is the growth, it's 10%, whatever it is. For the police station, is there anything in Massachusetts that says this is, if your town is this many people, this is your sweet spot of number of officers, or is that something that we set? Like, how is it decided of how many officers are necessary for a town?
So there's no hard and fast formula for every police department because what happens in your community depends on how you want to police. Meaning, some towns, they don't have as many residents, but they have a lot more activity in their communities. So that's not how they don't do it by per capita.
Okay.
That is one formula, but there's multiple formulas that departments use across the country to staff their department. It's really about the calls for service and the amount of need you have within each community.
Okay, so in 10 years, we could shrink or we could expand. In other words, we could have 20 less officers if that is an executive decision, or we could have 20 more officers if that's an executive decision. But at the end of the day, it's an executive decision, correct?
It's absolutely, I mean, I work with the town manager and select board. Town manager is the appointing authority. Any new hires goes through finance and the FinCom. So when we budget every year, we look at our staffing. We show the need for our staffing and increases, and we certainly have increased. We haven't increased patrol officer staffing in a number of years, but that's what we look at each year when we're building out our budget, and we have to present why we need more or less. I would say that I've been in the department for 25 years. I haven't seen our calls for service reduced. I've only seen them increase. I've seen building increase. I've seen apartment complex after apartment complex be built in town, businesses being built, which is all great growth, but it is demands for service on our department. So I don't see that we're getting any smaller.
Thank you. And then Mark, for the feasibility study, does that take into an account like a 10% increase, 20% increase just for space? Because I know with the current location, we ran out of space pretty quickly and we didn't take into account female officers. So is this part of the feasibility study to think about that?
There is an increase built into it, but you'd have to.
That is what we worked into is if we had a magic ball and we could figure out, the future and how many officers we would need. That's what we looked at with the Armory location, is that there is ability to expand. Where if we stayed at Rose Street, there is no ability to expand anywhere if the department needs to get bigger. And yes, I mean, certainly there were designs in 26 Rose Street for female locker room. It just, they didn't think that we would have as many female officers as we have. So that was the need for the expansion within our department. There's closets that are offices. We expanded through that station, and we outgrew that station by 2000.
Thank you. Any other? Go ahead, Jonna.
Through you, just curious, are there mandates that you can't build up? I'm assuming that's the case. That's why you're not doing that. And then I have another question.
At Rose Street location, the infrastructure was never put into that. Again, that was a building that was, the foundation of 26 Rose Street is the original station that was there, and they didn't put the infrastructure in that building to go to a second floor.
Is that an option we could look into to see if it was, part of the upcoming?
So essentially, they've indirectly looked into that. By touching that existing building, you got to bring whatever part you touch up to existing codes.
Oh.
So by doing that, it kind of, you're ripping the whole building apart at that point.
Okay. And the only other question I wanted to ask was, I'm just not clear, so for clarification, I know you want to look at the armory, but are you also keeping Rose Street? I'm just not clear on that. Or are you just going to move into the armory and be done with the Rose Street place? Thank you.
So the goal is if by doing the feasibility study that we can move the entire station to one location, that's ideal. We want to be in one headquarters. And then the town would own 26 Rose Street, and what they choose to do with that is up to the town after that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Dawn?
I was just touching up on that same thing where we're looking at the Armory and Rose Street. Just like with the fire station, we have one on Prospect Street, or no, is it Prospect? Prospect, oh, okay. Prospect, and then the one that's on Central Street. Would it be feasible for us to have two police stations where the north of Stoughton taken by the Armory, because we're having a lot of trucks and a lot of businesses there that would be, I think you would separate, so we'd have more room for both people to be doing,
Ideally, I think the reason you have response times that are significant for the fire department, and that is what makes us different from them, is that our officers are on patrol. They're in their sectors of the area, and response times are not quite the same, and the need for having 2 locations. So ideally, we would like to have one headquarters.
Go ahead, Ian.
Thank you. I understand that there's an issue with kind of just space for personnel. I think I'm also aware that there's some challenges around, I think, evidence storage. Could you just talk through any other business problem or, kind of technical problems that a new building would solve?
So I would go a little further with some of the problems that are in 26 Rose Street. I've been in the building since 2001. No matter how many times we've tried to fix the roof, it still leaks. We have a lot of equipment within the building, so there are a lot of issues within the building that we deal with considerably. The evidence is obviously in digital evidence. We need storage for that. There is a need for personnel and officers, and policing has evolved. We're now going to have a not peer support, we're going to have a counselor that's assigned to the police department. And so we're looking at the different things that have come into policing from today's point of view versus when we built that building. And without having the ability to expand within that, it has restricted our operations. We do it, of course, just we get unique. So one of the projects is our drones that will be coming. That's a project that we're looking to expand on. And that'll be another tool for us to operate within our organization.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the committee? Any comments from the public? Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so that was Article 15 and Article 21 under special town meeting. We're not going to take votes yet. We are going to continue with the public hearing article. We're going to go back to the annual town meeting, Article 17. Again, we're not taking votes right now. So Article 17, Washington Street Sewer Main. Mark, I think this is probably you. This is if we have any public hearing. So really, if there are any questions from the public on any of these, because we'll talk about this when we vote. So if everyone is okay, what I'd like to do is ask if there are any questions from the public in this public hearing as we go through the Article 17, 18, 19 on the annual town meeting, and Article 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 13 on the special town meeting. And if we don't have any public remarks in the public hearing, then we can close the public hearing, and then we can talk about it to take votes. Does that sound okay with everybody? Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, so are there any, I'm just going to run through them. Are there any public comments on Article 17, the Washington Street Sewer Main, Article 18, the Sewer Department Capital, Article 19, the Water Department Capital? Moving on to the special town meeting, Article 4, deposit to Water Capital Stabilization Fund, Article 6, deposit to the Sewer Capital Stabilization Fund, Article 7, deposit to the General Stabilization Account. Article 8, deposit to the Building Stabilization Account. Article 9, deposit to the Fire Apparatus Stabilization Account. Article 10, deposit to the Capital Project Stabilization Account. Article 11, deposit to Special Education Stabilization Account. Article 13, Sewer Department Capital. Arnie, go ahead.
On several of these articles, there's no estimated cost. This is what I have, and it's all to be determined. Is there some way we can get a copy with these figures? Article 6, to be determined. Article 7, to be determined. Article 8, to be determined.
We have, hang on. I'm not sure what you're looking at. I have I have numbers. So go ahead, Dennis.
He's looking at, I have the same thing as from the February 22nd email that Carolyn had sent. I don't have an updated one with numbers in it either.
Can I take a shot?
Yeah.
I have from the town accountant deposits to the stabilization funds, certified free cash, and they have numbers on that. Arnie, do you have something that looks like this?
No, I have this.
No, this is what I've got. And what it says here is deposit to the general stabilization account, if you want to write this down, is $1 million to the general stabilization account.
Hold on. Where are you starting again? There's Article...
Madam Chair, Vice Chair, we have numbers in the articles that we have before us. I don't know if it just didn't, does everybody have no numbers, or?
I just have the numbers you gave us originally, but I do have questions about these articles.
Okay, if we can start with what we have as the knowns, and then you also have the summary report that show where the funding's coming from. So you have two places. So if Article 4, deposit to the Water Stabilization Fund, we cannot do that until we approve the Article 3. So Article 3 would need to be approved in order to create the Water Stabilization Fund. And then Article 4 is where we would authorize the deposit into that stabilization fund.
The number that I have on here, on my paper, is for special town meeting Article 4 is $300,000. Is
That is correct.
Okay.
But you have to approve the
Correct.
stabilization fund Article 3 first.
Why don't we,
Do you want a copy?
Why don't I make some copies of them?
I know we had copies of these on like the first night that we sat, so my concern is people don't have them on them.
Show it your, Heidi, what are you showing? That one I don't have, no, so I don't have that either. Okay. While you're doing that, I have some questions.
Okay. Do you want to do them as part of the public hearing or as part of the?
No, part of the public hearing.
Okay. All right. So Joel has some questions as part of the public hearing.
Biz, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Article 7, deposit to the general stabilization fund. Could you tell me how much money is in that fund right now?
Sure. On the summary reports that you got a couple of weeks ago, the General Stabilization Fund has, one moment please. General Stabilization current balance is $10,502,96761, and that was as of a February date.
That's $10,502,967 and
64 cents and change.
okay, thanks. Okay.
Okay. Do we want to do all of
Article
them?
8, deposit to the building stabilization fund. What is currently in that fund?
The Building Stabilization Fund has, I'll say it and then I will do it again. 4,450,458.85. So 4,450,458.85.
$4,450,458.
And 85 cents. Sorry.
It's okay. Sorry.
I am who I am.
That's all right. Article 9, deposit to the fire apparatus stabilization account. How much money is in that account?
1,268,291.44. 1,000,000. I'm sorry, I think that's 66, can't see. 1,266,291.44.
1,266,000, what's the next three?
291.44. And they're up on the screen as well. Let me just see if I can hide some of these. make
Jonna,
some
that was for the fire apparatus.
Yeah, fire apparatus.
Okay, that's fire apparatus. Article 10, deposit to the capital equipment stabilization account. What is currently in that account?
$1,035,202.05. 103520205.
Which one was that?
That was for Article 10, deposit to the capital equipment stabilization account. Article 11, I think it's on here too, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Article 11 is deposit to the Special Education Stabilization Fund. And you did give us the number the other day. I didn't write it down. Do you have that available?
I do. 522,488. And no change. 522,488.
522?
488.
88.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
I missed that on the capital stabilization, capital project. How much was in there?
Capital equipment is $1,035,202.05. And then you also have capital building reserve, which is separate from capital equipment.
Which one's Article 10, capital project stabilization?
Capital, there is no capital project. It's capital building reserve and then capital equipment stabilization. Those are two
Are you thinking of the
accounts.
building stabilization?
Well, I'm looking at Article 10, capital project stabilization account.
That's capital equipment.
Okay, that's what, I'm just asking.
It's capital equipment.
And Article 8 is the building. So
Correct.
if something happens to a building, this is where you,
Yes, so if we have an emergency, let's say we have another roof leak or pipe break, or we can repair it and then go against the insurance at a later date.
okay. All right, so are we getting copies of what's on the screen right now, or?
I passed those out to you before, so you should still have them in your packets.
No, she's making copies of the warrant with the,
The warrant articles?
yeah.
Okay. But while she's doing that, for the general stabilization account, we're looking to put in, you're looking at $1 million?
Correct. And the reason we're doing the general stabilization at $1 million is because we are going to have a lot of borrowing coming up, and we need to have our bond rating remain stable. And by putting more money away into your savings accounts, it increases your stability for your bond ratings. And this is one of the things that they look at very, very clearly. Every single reserve account, every single savings account, they want to know what you have, what you've done, and whether or not you've been responsible to keep building those funds moving forward.
Okay. Just continue on here, the building stabilization fund, you're requesting, I think it's 600,000, my eyesight's not too good.
It will be 600,000 is what we're requesting. That will bring us to a little over $5 million. And again, the building reserves, we're trying to ensure that we have funding should we have an emergency for a building. Let's say, one of the things we could use it for is the senior center. They want a new pavilion, or they need an addition or a handicap ramp. We can go to town meeting and vote that and use that money for capital building reserve for any type of building issues that we have. That's why we want to build it up. And again, it goes to bond rating and financial stability for the community.
Okay. Under Article 10, you're recommending 500,000?
Yes, 500,000 is the Capital Equipment Stabilization Fund, and the reason that we are requesting that is because we do have a number of pieces of equipment that are going to start to deteriorate and currently are. So we are trying to build these up, and just a word of caution, the last couple of years, the free cash has been pretty good. The only reason it's been good is because the amount of work that's gone on in the background to close out purchase orders. When I first got here, we had purchase orders outstanding since 2015. We closed out millions of dollars of purchase orders, which impact our free cash and bottom line. So that's why we've had such good free cash. Also with our, this year, there were more projects that closed out in this last year. We have grants that for a period of time, departments were charging their budgets for grants. And that's why you're starting to see stricter controls on grants and budgeting, so that people are not charging into their budgets for grants. So we have a lot of grant funding that we have been moving back into the general fund, and that was in 2025, and that was over $1 million. So there's still a lot of work that we have to do, but you're heading into the point where your free cash is probably going to be running how it was before, around the $5 million range. And on that $5 million range, it doesn't leave you much to pay for your capital and other one-time, non-recurring expenses, and that's what free cash is to be used for. So let's say next year we need this is just a for instance, a new feasibility study to build a new town hall. That feasibility study is going to cost us $1 million. Our free cash is $4 million. So, okay, we're going to take $500 from free cash. We're going to take $500 from capital building reserve. So that gives us opportunities to go out and secure items that the town needs without borrowing. Right now, as one of the previous speakers had mentioned, is are we going to do another debt exclusion? Are we going to do this? We're going to do that. So that's why fiscally we have to start looking not just for today, but we have to look for 3, 4, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road on where we're going and what we need to do in order to save money and keep our bond rating intact. So I'm sorry, I digressed.
Okay, thank you. I think that the last one is Article 11, deposit to the Special Education Stabilization Fund.
Yes.
When Dr. Beata was here, he asked for $500,000. Are we all on board with that?
Yes, that's what we had proposed. We feel as though that's a good spot to be in. And historically, SPED was not getting any money at all. So last year, we took free cash and put a substantial amount of money into it. And the goal going forward is that every year with free cash, we will be putting money into this SPED stabilization account. Now, SPED stabilization, town meeting votes to put it in, but they do not vote to take it out. To take it out, that's only by the agreement of the school committee and the select board. So there's certain requirements to put it in, and then there's other requirements to take it out, just so that everybody's aware. And this was set up several years ago. I think last year we put in, it was either $363,000 or $263,000 to start funding this. And when we did it, it brought us to a $500,000 balance, and then calculating in the interest based on percentages and blah, blah, blah. So that's how we got to the 522. And we feel comfortable putting in the 500 into SPED.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, Tom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I really appreciate Bridget's comments on this. Her insight and her wisdom has been very helpful in us shaping our financial structure over the past 3 years. I think it's important to understand, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to our forefathers, but very important to understand that maintenance and capital investment was deferred in this community for decades. And I mean decades. Our schools are older than most schools in the entire Commonwealth. Our equipment was much older. Our underground infrastructure just 3 years ago still consisted of gas lines made of wood. So for decades and decades and decades, maintenance and capital investments in equipment were not only deferred, they were just ignored. And that's why we've had to make up ground in the past 3 or 4 years. Now, why do we put so much money in the capital stabilization accounts, in all the stabilization accounts? Because we're highly leveraged as a community. Biz sent out that warning sign, that warning beacon sign the day she arrived. It was one of the conditions of her accepting the job here. is that we got serious about cleaning up our balance sheet, both in terms of closing out old purchase orders, closing out old articles that were unused, but in terms of our debt structure. The reason our interest rate is so low right now and that we can borrow money at a lower than market interest rate is for two reasons. One is that our balance sheet has been cleaned up completely. And two is that they see we are paying cash for our capital equipment. Now, what does that mean? In the next 3 years, we haven't yet borrowed for the fire department, not long-term borrowing. Between the fire department, the South School, and maybe even a police department, you've got $100 million in borrowing. And we will be fully leveraged as a community for many, many years. So if we don't build these stabilization accounts, and show that the risk profile of this town is falling, then our interest rate is going to go up. 1 point on that $100 million is an additional $1 million a year of interest expense. Not to mention, we'll be frozen out of the debt market, which means we won't be buying any equipment, we won't be replacing any water lines, we won't be replacing sewer lines. Everything is interconnected. And it's so very important we understand that. Our interest rates are low because our financial strategy is conservative. When we move away from that strategy, our interest rate will go up. Our bond rating will go down. We'll be frozen out of the markets and will not be able to invest in any capital projects or capital equipment. So we're saving for the future. So all you got to do is read the newspaper every day. Today it was Lakeville and Lexington. Lexington. That's the problem. A wealthy community are closing libraries, outsourcing their trash, not replacing any capital equipment because they failed to plan for the future. This finance committee and the finance committee before you and the select board have planned for the future, and that's why Stoughton stands alone among all of the communities of our size. But I heard it said that the optics of saving all this money isn't good. The bond company thinks it's wonderful. The bonding agency gives us lower than market interest rates because of your strategy. So it's very important to remember. I love in this town, it's a beautiful thing. If somebody comes up with an idea to build a new animal control center, somehow within a month there's a feasibility study. After the feasibility study, there's funding for the new building. After the funding of the new building, all of a sudden we're breaking ground. And nobody asks, can we afford it? We're fully leveraged. That's why we're saving money. It's the only way we're going to be able to continue to replace our capital equipment and our aging capital buildings. I congratulate you on what you've done, and I hope Biz continues to speak to this issue because she has more wisdom in her baby finger than I have in my whole body. And so does Heidi. She comes from the same education, the same schooling. It's very important we listen to these two professionals. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I have one question regarding the Building Stabilization Fund. If we are doing something for Town Hall, do we have two options then, Building Stabilization or CPC? I'm just curious about that.
The only way you get money out of, I'm sorry, I think it's me. Yep. The only way to get money out of CPC is you have to do an application. And sometimes CPC cannot approve it, or there's no funding in CPC to cover this type of project. For instance, if we have an emergency situation, that's different than if we just want to do a design situation. Right now, we have the parking lot that we're working on. CPC graciously approved some money because part of the parking lot's going to be open space with what's called a pocket park moving forward. And it all depends on the projects that you're putting forward. But It's just like in your own home. You got your tax refund. Are you going to go spend it, or are you going to put it away for that rainy day? And that's some of the things that we really, really have to look at. And CPC is very, very specific. There's certain rules that they have to follow from the state. There's financial rules they have to follow. There's rules from the Community Preservation Commission that they have to follow. So I would not necessarily say that you can use CPC when you have this type of an issue. Let's say we keep building the reserves, et cetera, and in the next 2 years, we got $7 million in capital stabilization fund. All right, well, let's look at this. Town meeting, do we want to take $1 million out of the capital building stabilization fund and use that to offset another $1 million against the South School project? So those are the types of things that if you go proactively and you think about what we can do today that may impact tomorrow, that's very important, because if you just think about today, you're not going to have a financially secure tomorrow.
Madam Chair, just to follow up, if I may, to business comments, even CPC, that's highly leveraged. That account is highly leveraged. They are approving projects now based upon next year's revenues, or they're borrowing money against next year's revenues. We're a town that's in great financial shape, but we are highly leveraged.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ben.
Through Madam Chair, just a quick question. What's the difference between the Building Stabilization Fund and the Capital Stabilization Fund?
The Building Stabilization Fund is restricted to buildings.
Okay.
Now, the way this is set up, we were allowed to authorize $1 million in the fall to start the demolition project at the old theater. You know, thankfully, it's being taken care of right now by the owner, but that's something that we can use this for, as derelict properties as well. Let's say we have a house that's falling down, and the town votes to have a home demolished. As long as we are in possession of it, we can do that. So those are the types of things you can use this for.
If I may, Biz and Ben, building would be real property, capital would be personal property, equipment, and so forth. So building stabilization would be a real piece of real property. A capital stabilization would be for a truck.
I believe Ben was asking about general stabilization. Yeah. Yeah. Is it building and capital or general?
Building and Capital.
Okay, that was the exact answer, is buildings versus personal property, such as equipment.
For example, for the police station or the South School, which stabilization fund would we draw out of to fund something like that?
It depends on what you have available in those funds and what the need is. So let's say the police station, we want to take, let's say we're really happy, and we have $20 million in our building stabilization fund. All right, well, townspeople can look and say, all right, we want to take 10 million of that and apply it to the new police station, or apply it to the borrowing for the South School, or some other aspect like that. And those decisions come strictly from, we provide you with the information, and then with that information, the finance committee and the townspeople, it's ultimately up to the town meeting, legislative body, to make the decision on how funding is spent or saved.
I mean, given the colossal costs of some of these major projects, like building a police station, should we be putting more money into these stabilization accounts?
Well, by the time we're done everything here, I don't know if you can see it, we're not going to have much money left at the end of this this funding. Let's see.
$1.6 million.
Here we have certified free cash of $10,611,000, if you can see that. And once we take everything out that we want to do, of which $1.25 million is going to go to the snow and ice deficit, if we weren't conservative in what we're doing, we wouldn't have money for that snow and ice deficit. What we would have to do is we would have to cut budgets because it's going to get raised on the tax rate recap. So here, by the time we're done spending everything in the certified free cash, sorry for making you dizzy scrolling down, this leaves us very little money, and roughly $4 million is going into savings. So here, sorry, taking me a little bit longer. So we will have $1,499,275 remaining, and what happens is you leave that in your undesignated fund balance, and by leaving it there, that's the basis of your free cash calculation for next year. So that's where you start. That's your savings account. And then as you close out this year, you're starting out with 1,499. As long as you don't have any hiccups, you add to that. And that continues to grow your free cash. Last year, we had a 1.671 undesignated fund balance at the end of the fiscal year, and that helped create the $10 million that we have this year. So if we spent all that, which the history here before I got here is we spent every single penny on free cash because you thought you were supposed to. And a lot of that went to subsidizing enterprise funds, budgetary adjustments. I know when I first got here, 2.3 million of free cash, I believe, went to the school. So those types of things, and that's where you create your structural deficits. But here you want to be very, very cautious on what you have remaining. This is the beginning of your savings account moving forward. Did that answer?
Yes, that very good answer. I just think we need to put it on a higher level of priority in terms of putting aside some of these stabilization funds for these buildings.
We are doing the best we can to put money away for these buildings. And with this, we're putting 1.23 away for the new ladder truck for the fire department. Is it ladder or fire engine? Fire engine. We're going to be paying for that in cash because they can secure it this year. So we don't have to go to borrowing. So that's the fiscal planning that we're doing moving forward. And I do agree. More money we put away, the better off we are. But we have to do it strategically so that we aren't throwing money into an account that in 6 months we're going to go back and say, oh, I need that money. So we're trying to get a handle on all the borrowing that the town does, being able to say this is what we can do from the free cash standpoint and building up our savings. This year, I think, like I said, I believe the savings is 4.6 million is what we're putting away. And based on a 10 million free cash, that's pretty good, And then we're putting 2 to next year's savings. That leaves us roughly, 4 million that we're spending. So we are being conservative, and we're thinking of tomorrow, and that's the role of the finance director, the budget team, the select board, the finance committee is we got to think about tomorrow and just not today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jonna?
Thank you, through you, Becca. Just a comment, I totally agree with that concept. The only thing is, to put a damper on the whole thing, a couple of years ago on town meeting floor, one of the officials was asked what is going to happen to the excess money that we have from that 9/11 dispatch, and we were told that's going to be saved, and 6 weeks later we were in FinCom and spent every penny of it, so I'm a little doubtful, but I hope that's how it goes, but that doesn't seem to be how it is around here. Thank you.
Well, I can't comment on something I was not here for, but we do know that we will have dispatch costs going forward, unless there's a new 911 grant, which knowing Holbrook and Steve Hook, who's the emergency, regional emergency department head over there, he will secure more grants. So the chances of the town having to put forth a huge amount of dollars, I don't think is going to be there. Welcome.
Any other? All right. Do we want a motion to close the public hearings? Okay.
I'd like to move that we close the public hearings for the annual town meeting of May 4th and the special town meeting of May 4th, 2026.
Is there made by Joel, seconded by Lauren. All those in favor, raise and say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so 13 to 0 to 0. Okay. Now that the public hearing is closed, does anybody want to take a quick break or want to go right into voting? Oh, jeez. I know, we can't touch these. Does anybody want to take a quick bathroom break?
You want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a quick 2-minute break.
Biz, can we see your little finger, please? I'm very impressed. Now I'm going to have to go to therapy.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We have 2, they'll be back in a sec. Okay, so we've closed the public hearing. Do you want to, all right, Joel?
Yes. In past years, what we have done is we have not voted on deposits to any stabilization funds until we have approved the final budget. So with that in mind, on this agenda, items on special town meeting, May 4th, 2026, Article 4, Deposit to Water Capitalization Fund, Article 6, Deposit to Sewer Capitalization Fund, Article 7, Deposit to General Stabilization Fund, Article 8, Deposit to Building Stabilization Fund, Article 9, Deposit to Fire Apparatus Stabilization Fund, Article 10, Deposit to the Capital Project Stabilization Fund, and Article 11, Deposit to the Special Education Stabilization Fund. I would like to move that we table that until Thursday.
Yes.
Madam Vice Chair, Mr. Wolk, the capital for the water and sewer, they are strictly for the enterprise funds. They do not impact the
My
general fund.
apologies, you're correct. You're right.
Thank you. So if possible, if we could take those up tonight, that would be very useful, and then we'll have less to do later. So with this, we'd need to, on the special town meeting, you first would have to approve Article 3, which is to create, and then Article 4, which is to deposit, and then Article 5 to create, and Article 6 to deposit.
Well, this might be a problem because we don't have that in the agenda right now.
You can't vote to deposit anything when you haven't created the article itself.
All right, fine. Okay, I'll tell you what. Can I modify my table motion?
Please do.
I'm going to modify my table motion by removing Article 4 and Article 6, but I'm going to leave in Articles 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and table that until Thursday after we approve the final budget.
Do I need a second, or can I ask a clarifying question?
Is there a second?
Is there a second?
Thank you.
All right, so the motion to table Articles 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right, of the special town meeting to Thursday night after we vote the budget, seconded by Heidi. Can we, because we don't have Article 3 and Article, the other one, are we able, 5, are we able to vote on that if it's not on the agenda?
Did we have a public hearing on 3 and 5? I can't remember, or maybe I missed it. Does anybody remember? I don't recall.
Okay, so this is just the this is the second round of the public hearing for bond council.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're okay.
So
We can vote 3 and 5, I suppose, because it says discussion of articles, votes will be taken, leaves it kind of open.
oh yeah, since we only did the public hearing for, yes. Okay. Dennis? Awesome, thank you. Okay. So, okay. So then we are going, all right, we're going to jump back and go to the annual town meeting so we can get those three out of the way. I'm hearing feedback. Is anybody else hearing feedback? I hear a buzz.
Let's throw everybody off.
Okay. Is this better? Is
All ready?
Okay. Okay.
Article 17, Washington Street Sewer Main and Abandoned Sumner Ridge Pump Station. I move that the town, that we recommend that the town vote to borrow $2,400,000 for the design, permitting, and construction associated with the abandonment of the Sumner Ridge Pump Station and the installation of a sanitary sewer system in a portion of Washington Street and surrounding areas, and that the Select Board, acting as sewers commissioners, be authorized to enter into and/or execute any temporary or permanent easements, agreements, or instruments as may be necessary for such conveyance.
Is there a second? Who said that? Dawn? Okay. So the motion was made by Joel, seconded by Dawn. Do we want any discussion on this article? No discussion. Okay. So we're going to vote. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10. Shoot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 12. All those against? 1 against. Abstain? None. All right. So we have 12 to 1 to 0. That was Article 17. Thank you. Moving on to Article 18.
Article 18, Sewer Department Capital. I move that we recommend that the town vote to borrow $900,000 to purchase capital for the sewer department, all as set forth in the chart below, or take any other action relative thereto.
Madam Chair,
Chart is item 1.
it's not a correct motion. There's two different motions on this one.
There are?
Is this
Yes.
450,000 from retained earnings and 450,000 for the borrowing?
Yes,
Is that why?
yes.
Which one is the
So,
borrowing? Which one is
Number
which?
1 is the borrowing, inflow and infiltration program, 450,000 to borrow. And the second motion is the sewer camera truck, which is the use of retained earnings.
I got it. Okay. Yep. I'd like to modify my motion then. Start with the inflow and infiltration program to recommend that we borrow $450,000 for that program.
Is this all one motion?
Yes.
Need a second.
It's a replacement motion.
Yes. Is there a second? Ingrid. Okay, so the motion was made by Joel, seconded by Ingrid. Any discussions? Okay, let's vote. All in favor of 450,000 from retained earnings for the sewer cam?
Nope. It's the borrowing, I&I, inflow and infiltration, proposal number 1.
Oh, sorry. 450,000 for borrowing for the inflow and infiltration program. All in favor? Jonna, is that a hand? Okay, sorry. All right. All against? Okay, that's 1. Any abstentions? All right, so that is 12 to 1 to 0.
And on the second part of the motion, I move we recommend to use for the sewer camera truck for $450,000 to be taken out of retained earnings in the sewer enterprise fund.
Any comments? Oh, sorry. Motion was made by Joel, seconded by Heidi. Any comments? Seeing none, all in favor? All right. right, that's 13. All opposed? Seeing none. Any abstentions? All right, that's 13 to 0 to 0. Okay.
Madam Chair, Article 19 is also a split in proposed motions.
Okie dokie. So, go ahead. Do you need this, Joel? I have it.
Heidi, is it in what you just passed out, or?
That's the special. Here. That's it.
I have the breakdown. Which is which?
Item 1, which is the maintenance upgrades to Forest and Oakland Street water tanks.
Right.
At $4,560,000, that's borrowing. Item 2 is the Goddard Well PFAS upgrades at $2.9 million, that's also borrowing.
That's retained earnings?
Borrowing, they're both borrowing.
Oh, they're both borrowings?
Yes, sir.
So I could probably do it in one motion, can I?
No, it's two different items, two different borrowing authorizations.
Bond counsel wanted it on two motions.
Okay. Next year, you'll be alone, remember that. Okay. All right, let me try again. I move that we recommend that the town vote to borrow $4,560,000 for the maintenance and upgrades to Forest and Oakland Street water tanks, or take any other action as relative thereto.
Is there a second? Okay, the motion was made by Joel, seconded by Heidi. Any discussion? Go ahead.
Will the debt service, will that come out of the enterprise funds, or will that come out of the general funds?
Enterprise fund, and in this case, it's the Water Department enterprise.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. No other questions? As Heidi walks away. All right. All those in favor, say aye. We'll find out what Heidi said.
Heidi says hi, too.
Yeah. All right. All those opposed? 1. And abstentions? None. Seeing none.
And item number 2, I would like to move that we recommend the town vote to borrow $2,900,000 for the Goddard Well PFAS upgrades.
Is there a second? Motion was made by Joel, seconded by Lauren. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed? 1. Any abstentions? None. Okay. 12 to 1 to
Takes care of that one.
Okay. So that is it for the articles for the regular town meeting. So many papers. Moving on to special town meeting. And before we end tonight, we really should run through and make sure we did all the articles.
Yeah.
Like a fault. Okay. All right. Moving on, we are going to go to Article 3 of the special town meeting. Did everybody now has the updated? It's, yes, Article 3. So can I get a positive motion or a positive recommendation?
I would like to move that the town vote to accept the 4th paragraph of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 5B, which allows the dedication without further appropriation to a water capital stabilization enterprise fund established under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 5B, to be effective for the fiscal year beginning on July 1st, 2025? Is that right?
This makes it effective for fiscal year '26, which starts on July 1st, 2025. by making it July 1st, 2025, we are then able to transfer money into the stabilization.
Because this
fund.
is a special town meeting.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, I understand that. Or take any other action there too.
Is there a second? You're giving a second? Okay. All right. Motion was made by Joel, seconded by John. Comments? Ben?
Through you, Madam Chair. Same question. Is this coming from the enterprise funds?
Same answer.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
That will be on record forever. All right, anything else? All right, all those in favor, say aye. Okay, that's unanimous. No abstentions, no noes. Okay, so that's Article 3, so that's 132020. Okay, Article 4. Oh, hang on. Let's jump to 5.
I'd like to move that the Section 5B to be effective for the fiscal year beginning on July 1st, 2025, which is FY '26, or take any other action relative thereto.
Is there a second? John, I got it this time. So motion was made by Joel, seconded by Jonna. Any questions, comments, concerns? Okay. All those in favor, say aye. That's everybody, so no noes, no abstentions. All right, so that's Article 5. So that's all right. So let's go back then. Shall we go back to Article 4?
I actually don't have a number here, so.
300. It's 300,000.
I have the annual town meeting passed out, but I don't have the updated special. No, you can just tell me what it is. 300? Donna says it's 300. That's good enough for me. I would like to move that the recommend that the town vote to deposit $300,000 to the Water Capital Stabilization Enterprise Fund, and to meet this appropriation, $300,000 to be transferred from free cash.
It's water retained earnings.
That's probably incorrect. Transfer from retained earnings?
The proposed motion in front of me says to be transferred from water certified retained earnings.
That's what I have. All right, the motion was made by Joel, seconded by Heidi. Any questions, comments? Go ahead, Joel.
As a point of procedure, we're voting to deposit money in a fund that hasn't been voted on yet.
Well, what you have to do is you have to vote that you are creating the stabilization fund, moving it off to town meeting,
Which we did.
which you did, so you've done that part. And then the second part is for you to move on to take that funding and deposit. It's the same process. So we're saying we've approved, Finance Committee has approved, create the account, then the Finance Committee is approving to make that deposit.
All right, okay, so if in town meeting, they don't approve the establishment of the fund, what happens with this article?
Then my life gets more difficult, and my life gets more difficult. We take off the creation of the account if it was defeated, and we take off the deposit. And again, that's town meetings, that's the end result. You guys are the middle, okay?
Yep. Everybody get my motion, or are we all set?
So,
$300,000 to be transferred from the Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings.
water certified.
That
Retained
was the
earnings.
water, correct?
Okay.
And there was a second on that. That was Heidi? Correct? Okay. All right. All those in favor for Article 4? All right. No noes, no abstentions.
I'm done.
Oh, okay. All right, so that's 132020. And by the way, I found a couple of regular articles that we did not vote on yet, so we're probably going to run back to those after this. Okay. Moving on, we did 5. Article 6.
I'd like to make a motion that we recommend that the town, I don't have a money on this one either.
750,000 from sewer certified retained earnings.
Got it. That the town vote, recommend that the town vote to deposit $750,000 to the Sewer Capital Stabilization Enterprise Fund, and that to meet this appropriation, $750,000 be transferred from sewer certified retained earnings. Oh, that sounds so weird. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, so the motion was made by Joel, seconded by Jonna. All right, any questions, comments, concerns? Okay, all those in favor, say aye. All those opposed, abstained, okay. 13-0. Okay. So we've tabled Article 7 to Article 11.
We still have 13, 15.
I know, I'm
okay.
just jumping through this.
Sorry.
So we're going to move on to Article 13, Sewer Department Capital, under the special town meeting. Do you need it?
Yeah, you better give it to me. Nah, I like to work in the dark. Can we do this as one vote, or do we have to do two here?
This is two different items. The proposed motion would be to fund both items at the same time from the sewer department retained earnings.
Okay, fine. I'd like to make the motion that we recommend that the town vote to appropriate and fund from the sewer department enterprise retained earnings $243,000 to design, permit, install, and construct and purchase capital improvement projects and items for the sewer department, all is set forth as below. Item 1, 2 F-250 pickup trucks with plows, $140,000, and item 2, sewer pump station upgrades, $100,000.
Is there a second? Oh, Marty got the second. So we're going to say motion was made by Joel, seconded by Marty. Questions, comments, concerns? All right, seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none. No abstentions. Okay, that was Article 13, right? Okay. All right. What are we on next?
15?
All right, moving on to Article 15.
I would like to move that we recommend that the town vote to appropriate and fund from free cash $465,000 to design, permit, install, and construct and purchase capital improvement projects and items associated with the police department capital items. All is set forth as below. Item 1, 3 marked cruisers for $265,000. Item 2, first responder drone and software for $110,000. Item 3, flock safety software for $60,000. And item 4, taser replacements, 10 units for $30,000.
Is there a second? Okay. Motion was made by Joel, seconded by Lauren. We're taking this whole thing as a whole, correct? Okay. All those in favor, say aye. There were no questions or comments or concerns. Were there before we vote? I apologize.
I'm sorry, what?
I realized I didn't ask for questions, comments, concerns before we voted. I apologize. So I haven't counted yet. Ben, did you have any questions? Okay. Sorry. Now we can vote. I apologize. All those in favor, say aye. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. All those opposed? Okay. All those abstained? All right. So 10 to 2 to 1. Okay. That's Article 15. 16 we got. Article 17. I know the next one's 21. I'm just double checking that we didn't miss any. I'm going to jump in with Article 19, the Park and Turnpike Street intersection final design. That's on the special town meeting. We still have to vote on this one. Mm-hmm. Do you have the motion?
Yes, according to my notes, we discussed this in the public hearing on the March 5th. Article 19, Park and Turnpike Street intersection, final design. I'd like to make the motion that we recommend that the town vote to appropriate and fund from free cash $400,000 for professional consultation services to provide engineering analysis, design, surveying, and other related consulting services with respect to traffic improvement and design for the intersection at Park Street and Turnpike Street, continuing up to 10th Street and surrounding areas, including all incidental and related expenses, or take any other actions relative thereto.
Is there a second? Motion is made by Joel, seconded by Heidi. Okay, any comments, questions, concerns on this one? Go ahead, Arnie.
I was down in Rhode Island, and they had an intersection with a rotary like they're proposing, and it seemed to work pretty smoothly. They were going in and out pretty easily on that. So I don't know. I'm sort of teetering back and forth. Do we really need it? And I saw how smoothly this ran. No one got upset. It just went into the rotary.
Thank you. All right, any other comments, concerns? Okay, let's vote. All those in favor, say aye. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, all those against? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and no abstentions, correct? So we got what, 9 to 4? Okay. 9 to 4? Yes. 9 to 4 to 0, yeah. 9, yes. That's how many we have. Oh, I'll try. Get out my calculator. Or your abacus? Hey.
That's because I'm the oldest one here.
Okay. All right. All right. Moving on. Let's see. Article 21, Police Station Feasibility Study.
I'd like to make a motion that we recommend that the town vote to appropriate and fund from free cash $200,000 for the preparation of design documents to include schematic conceptual documents for the construction, equipping, and furnishing of an expansion renovation of the existing armory building and site to support a police department assessor's map, assessor's property ID map 081 lots 41 and 42, and to include schematic conceptual documents for the construction, equipping, and furnishing of a new police department building at the Armory site and at the town-owned parcel at Washington, or it should say, or at the town-owned parcel on Washington Street, assessor's property ID map 52 lot 107, including but not limited to professional engineering, architectural, and owner's project manager services, plans for demolition and removal of the existing buildings or portions thereof, and site preparation, including any required testing and/or investigations, and all other incidental and related expenses, and further, to authorize the Board of Selectmen to execute all instruments and/or other agreements and take all other action as may be necessary to effectuate the purposes of this vote, including contracts for terms in excess of 3 years.
We should say Dianu.
Please don't ask me to repeat that.
Motion was made by Joel, seconded by Heidi. Comments, questions, concerns?
I do.
What? Hang on. Dawn.
On the feasibility study, it says schematics and all this stuff. Do we get to see that as well after it's all done?
It looks like Mark says yes.
That will go in it when it's done and they're ready to propose to the town, then you'll see everything. Okay.
I feel like that was the 8 ball, the magic 8 ball. It's like, all signs say yes. All right. Thank you, Don. Joel?
Okay. I've taken a look at the draft feasibility study that has been provided. For those of you who may remember, we had an initial feasibility study in the police station for $300,000. I think it was last year? I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah, last year. And now this is an additional $200,000 to bring it up to the full feasibility study of what we need to be looking for. One of the things that I took a look at was the size of the areas that we're talking about. The current police station and the parking lot next door to it is about 1.87 acres. The armory area, including the parking area that's closer towards Target, that total, based on my assessment, I think, is 3.65 acres, of which at least 3.2 acres are usable and about maybe 0.4 acres is swamp area or whatever. But I think one of the reasons why this has a lot of good potential is because it gives the ability for us to design and come up with a police station that 10, 12, 15 years from now, if it needs to be expanded, at least we have the area to do it. We have plenty of places to park. And I think that Doran Whittier, who did the initial feasibility study, did an excellent job based on other feasibility studies that I've read over the years and other projects. I think they spent a lot of time making sure that the current and future needs of the police department would be addressed to bring it up to a 21st century police department that we can all rest assured with. Very much in favor of this. I think it's something that we should go forward with. And my comment on a question about financing that was brought up earlier, yes, this would be something we'd have to address, but keep in mind we have a lot of options. It could be something that could be a debt exclusion, or like with the fire department projects, it could be partial debt exclusion and partial part of the levy. There will be some money, hopefully, that we would get with the current police station, which we sell it under state law. The money from the sale of that building has to go to another asset, so that it would have to go to either the new police station or some other new building that we were going to build. In any event, I personally don't really see this coming up in a special town meeting in November. I think something that has to be really looked at. I appreciate the police department in saying that they will, in fact, have public information hearings prior to any decisions being made, which is something that's been done on the two public schools, the high school and the current elementary school, and actually on the library too. So I think this is a worthwhile investment, and I hope that everybody can vote in favor of it.
Thank you. Any other comments? Dawn?
The feasibility study that we did for the Rose Street, are they the same people that are doing this one?
I'm sorry. Yes. Doran Whittier.
So if that was the case, our town was growing back then, and it didn't accommodate for like
maybe I didn't hear your question. Are you talking about, are they the original designers of the current police station?
Yes, the one on, I didn't.
The one on Rose Street? No. No, it's another firm which may or may not be in business. Well, it was a few years ago, so. And I never liked them, so.
So the original is not this company. Okay. Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns? Go ahead, Arnie.
Through you, this is directed towards maybe the town manager or assistant town manager. What is the current police station worth in gross terms?
It's worth as much as someone's willing to pay for it.
Well, that's the real answer. But to answer that question, we've been given a grant by the Commonwealth to do an appraisal on all of our surplus properties, the 2 schools and the police station. So we'll have a hard answer for that in the next few months.
So we could end up selling our property to help finance the police station. That includes the 2 schools that aren't being used anymore and the police station. Is that correct?
Well, I thought I would have said yes to that, Arnie, but Joel's brought some light to an issue I'm not aware of, that you would have to use it for the same purpose. I wasn't aware of that statute. We would like to get it back on the tax rolls. Go ahead.
That is in line with the MSBA. Whenever we sell town-owned property, it goes into a town-owned property account, and the townspeople can vote how to use that funding.
So just to finish my question.
So the answer to your question, if that's the case, would be we'd prefer, we don't have any immediate use for that property should the police station move. It would be great to get it back on the tax rolls, to sell it and get it back on the tax rolls.
So we could use a school towards the police station.
It all depends when the schools are decommissioned and when they get sold. Once there's money available, we can work that money into building capital stabilization fund into a ready to work the fire station, or if the police station's ready to go, we can use that funding to offset that cost.
But Artie, keep in mind, Madam Chair, keep in mind, it's all about timing.
Yes.
So if you're building a new school, they can't vacate the old schools until the new school's done, and by then the borrowing has been done, and you can't prepay the borrowing. So it'd have to be on a separate project.
I understand that. It's just that we also have a lot of other property which we own that I don't know how much of it is not being used, but we could help finance it that way instead of putting the burden on a tax, what's the term?
Increasing retirement and bonding.
Debt exclusion.
Right, and when the time comes, then it will be examined as to what's the best way to help pay for the police department and other things that have to be addressed. But I'm not going to be here, so good luck.
But we do agree completely
Heidi
with your
will
point.
Did you hear the question?
Artie, through you, Madam
She'll
Chair,
be asked again.
just for the record, we do agree with that point of view.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
All right. Going once, going twice, done. Thank you, Arnie. That was a good question. All right. We're voting on Article 21, Police Station Feasibility Study. All those in favor, say aye. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Voting noes. Abstentions? Arnie, what did I get you as? You're a yes. Okay. All right. So that's 10 to 0. 10 to 2 to 0. Okay. Thank you very, very much. All right. No, we already did that one. Okay. 11 to 2 to 0. I'm sorry. Okay. On the last, on the zoning map amendment for the petitioned article, is that us or no? Okay.
Petition articles, you just refer to town meeting, that's it.
Okay. All right, we are done with the special town meeting. We are going to jump back, though, into the annual town meeting. I did find 4 articles it looks like we did not vote on, although I'm not sure if we actually vote on all of them, so please bear with me. Okay, Article 27. We spoke about this tonight with Joe McCrisky. That is restoration of antique Hooneman hand pumper truck. Are we comfortable taking a vote on this tonight? Would somebody else like to make the positive motion on this? Again, all we can do is refer to town meeting. Town meeting makes the choice. Arnie, would you like to make the positive motion?
I'll make it, but bear with me. I'd like to make a motion to move that the town pursuant to GL 44B, the Community Preservation Act, appropriate $150,000 from the Historic Resources Fund balance to fund the restoration of an antique hand pumper truck from the 1850s, which was originally used by the town when purchased new.
Is there a second? So the motion was made by Arnie, seconded by Jonna, and the money is coming from the CPC. Any comments, questions, concerns? Go ahead, Arnie.
I was originally going to vote yes on this, but I guess my problem is that after hearing from Heidi and Elizabeth, that we're highly leveraged, the CPC's highly leveraged, and we're getting killed by death by 1,000 cuts, 150 here, 20,000 for that other thing in the park, and stuff like that. We got to start being more conservative with our money.
Thank you. Any other comments? Concerns? Okay. All right. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. All those opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Abstentions? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 13 of us. Okay, 4 to 6 to 3. Okay, thank you. All right, the next one I show is, and it may not be us, but I'm just going to say, Article 32, the zoning bylaw, proposed senior housing development. We don't discuss that. I thought they... Okay, I'm just double checking. I want to make sure we don't miss anything. The next one was Article 33, making sure that's not us. I should have written down the words. One sec. There's a lot of backup in here. Article 33 was the zoning map amendments. Just want to make sure that's not us. And then, okay, and then Article 34 was a bylaw amendment, not us. And then Article 35 was adopt specialized energy code. That's also not us. Okay then. Great. We have gotten through it. Some of us say Baruch Hashem. Okay, so votes will be taken. I will entertain.
I would like to move that we adjourn.
Until?
Thursday at 7 o'clock.
Thursday at 7 o'clock.
In the Great Hall.
In the Great Hall. No Wednesday. No Wednesday, just Thursday.
No.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed are welcome to stay here. Thank you, everyone.